Welcome. You're listening to Sports Econ 101, the show where we discuss sports topics from a business perspective. I'm your host, Edward Brown, along with my co-host, Mike McDowd. Russell Jackman's still on assignment. He should be coming back here pretty soon in the new year. At each commercial break, we're going to ask a trivia question. Today's trivia theme, miscellaneous trivia. We do have a special guest we're going to introduce in the next segment. Before we do, there's a few things that topics I know that we want to cover. Mike, you mentioned before we got on the air something about ESPN wanting to do, or what did they do? A moment of silence?
Yeah, well, they, the Notre Dame and just played in the Sugar Bowl, and ESPN, after that tragic event in New Orleans, refused to play the national anthem and observe a moment of silence. Why is that? I think it's a good question, and it's something that needs to be, talked about.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand a moment of silence, but why not have the national anthem? I mean, one thing shouldn't counteract the other. I don't get that part. Also, what happened to Sam Darnold against the Lions?
He got beat, man. He got beat.
Yeah, but I mean, he got beat badly, though. What they have, like 25 different chances to get into the end zone from the two-yard line? I don't know. I think it's just for some reason his head wasn't in the game. Lots of shakeups going on with NFL coaching, and I'm wondering how much of it has to do with the coaches versus, a lot of teams like the 49ers had injuries as well as turnovers, and that's not a coach's fault if you're going to have injuries or a lot of fumbles. And then also, doesn't it seem like this year there's been a lot more injuries? The guys are faster and stronger, but unfortunately those ankles and knees are not so strong. All right. You're listening to Sports Econ 101. Don't touch that dial. When we come back, Mike's going to introduce our special guest, a comedian who's been on our show once before. Don't touch that dial. Sports Econ 101 will be right back.
All right.
Let's talk college football.
Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. I'm Edward Brown along with Mike McDowd. Mike, please introduce our special guest.
First of all, I just got to make sure my hair is looking good today because we are, this is a YouTube thing also. So I just want to let people know I'm having a heck of a hair day, I got to tell you. But yeah, we got a special guest on. He's a one and only. He's a one-of-a-kind guy. He's special. He knows how to talk. Apparently, he played basketball one time in his life. Still, though, I think he still gets out there and plays. His name is Marvin Deloatch. He hails from the metropolis of Marin County, California. Lived in Nevada, went to Nevada High School. He's in the Marin County Athletic Hall of Fame. Besides all that good stuff, he played for one of the best college basketball teams in America in the 1970s into the early 1980s, the University of San Francisco. We welcome onto the big show, Sports Econ 101, coast to coast, border to border, Marvin Deloatch. Marvin Deloatch, welcome to the show. Happy New Year.
Good morning. Happy New Year, you guys. Thanks for having me on again. How you guys doing this morning?
Absolutely.
Yeah, Mike, I know you had to start talking about your hair this morning. That's a sore subject with me, man. So you just had to go there. You just had to go there, man. That's all right. I'm going to get you back on that one. That's okay. That's a great segue.
It's a great segue because, you were an All-American high school basketball player. You played with Bill Cartwright at the University of San Francisco when you guys were like number one in the country. And you had an incredible college basketball career. I mean, how many people get to play for one of the top teams in America? Like 1%. And that you make this incredible transition into something equally as difficult. You probably at one point wanted to play in the NBA, but you said to yourself, well, let's do something equally as hard. Let's become a professional comedian and make people laugh. So, hey, funny guy, let's make us laugh.
Yeah, go from one extreme to the other, man. I tell you, boy, I guess love performing, either playing basketball or I guess getting on stage and getting in front of people, Yeah. It's quite a contrast, that's for sure, man. I love that team, man. USF was a great team at the time, They were 29-2 when they recruited me. They were the number one team in the nation at that time with Bill Cartwright, James Winford Boyens, and James Hardy. And I was just a freshman with a lot of hair. I mean, after that recruitment, I just had a lot of hair at the time as a senior in Novato High School, Marin County, just wanted to be on that team. But it was a great experience, man. Those guys are awesome, man. All those guys played in the NBA. All
Yeah,
those
right.
guys
Hey,
played in
Marvin.
the NBA.
I was going
Hey,
to just
Marvin.
ask,
Yes.
Go
Marvin,
ahead.
let
Go
me ask
ahead,
you a
Eddie.
question. Do you, on your comedy routines, because I haven't heard them yet, are you using a lot of basketball?
I do have some, yes. It's like it's tough being tall, bald, and black and not playing in the NBA. People look at you like you're crazy. Like you just assume just because you're tall, bald, and black, you play in the NBA. Excuse me, sir. I always get, what team do you play for? I always get that all the time. What team do you play for?
How tall are you?
6'6" without the hair.
6 what?
6'6" without the hair.
6 without the hair. Okay, yeah,
6'6".
Hey, Edward, I'm looking at a picture of Marvin Deloatch in the Marin Independent Journal newspaper. He had an afro about this big and
the
this
old
wide.
type.
It was beautiful. It's beautiful.
It was the baddest fro. I did have the baddest fro out there. I have to admit that, man. You guys are right about that. That was nice. I do miss that, man. You know, I miss my hair. I still miss my hair so much. I still keep my shampoo just in case, because you never know. It just may grow back. You just never know.
Well, do you guys remember Oscar Gamble? I think he played for the White Sox, and he had such a big afro that he couldn't keep his hat on. And
Yeah,
every time
he had a pin into his head. I mean, I remember that. Yeah, yeah, that's for sure. Man, you guys are up and early this morning.
Yeah, we are up in more. Hey, by the way, I'm just getting a text from the guy you're going to be opening up for, Jimmy JJ Walker from Good Times, the famous guy. You know what he said? I said, hey, I said, Mr. Walker, would you please appear on our show? He gave me a one-word answer. He says, Dynamite.
Of course, Dynamite.
Dynamite.
Yeah, we got two great shows coming up.
He says, I got to go down to Starbucks to pick up a venti latte. I'll call you later. So no, I know.
That sounds like Jimmy Walker. That sounds like him, boy. I tell you, what a good time going to work with him. Yeah, we got to do 2 shows. We're doing Thursday night in the Black Gold Casino, and then Friday night in Fairfax in Marin County. Good old marvelous Marin County.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you guys are coming?
Well, yeah. We did Marin County Friday night at Fairfax at Max at Broadway, 19th Avenue, Max at Broadway.
Oh, what date?
Friday night, the 10th.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
You gonna be there?
Well, you know what? I lived like 5 miles away.
Oh my! You have to be there now. This Friday night. The
Friday
10th.
night?
Bring Jimmy Walker's gonna be there. I'm going to be the host. It's gonna be a great show. Dale Van Dyke, my man's gonna be there. And then my pet Todd Link, his opener, is going to be there. He travels with Jimmy all over the place. His name is Todd Link, a very funny comedian. So you're going to see some great comedians that night.
Yeah,
well, that's a good question for you.
And by the way, I hope Bill Cartwright's supposed to show up too. And I hope he doesn't get mad when I talk about his awkward free throw shot. He doesn't know what I'm talking about, his free throw shot that he used to shoot, that weird awkward back behind the back thing. So I'm gonna have to mention that when I see him. What was going on with that shot?
About it.
He could have just dropped the ball in for the free throw.
Hey, Marvin, I got a good question for you.
Yes,
so
sir.
You're a comedian. By the way, we welcome you to the show, Sports Econ 101.
Thank you. I love being here. Thank you.
We're heard all over the world, my friend. We want to thank our U.S. military. So you can make some military members laugh today, and we love that. But Marvin, I got to ask you a question. You played a lot of big basketball games against some of the best teams in America. You know pressure. You know what it's like to get ready and prepare. But what is it like to get ready and prepare to be an opening act for a legendary comedian like Jimmy Walker, who, let's face it, at one time was the biggest and baddest of them all, even though he's about 105 pounds?
Yeah.
Oh, I know, man. Hey, you know what, man? I tell you, entertainment comedy is a hard business. It's really the hardest business there is. It's tough. I don't know. Something's wrong with me mentally. Something's wrong with me. Something that I have to get up there and take that pressure because you're up there all by yourself. You don't have your teammates to rely on. You know what I'm saying? If things go wrong. So I think for some reason I like that pressure. I don't know. I like the extreme pressure. Just go. Okay, here we go. Sometimes I like to go out there without any material. Sometimes you just go out there and just use some comedy material from the audience and have them give me the material. And that's I just putting pressure on yourself sometimes, man. I love this for them. That's why I have any hair. I lost it that way, perhaps. I don't know. Something's wrong with me, but I really enjoy it. I really enjoy it though. It's a lot of fun.
That's the beauty of life. I mean, it's like asking Edward Brown and Marvin Deloatch, Edward, give me your best radio voice, and then so you want to try it, Edward?
My best radio voice? This is my best radio voice. Introducing Mike McDowd and Marvin Deloatch. How's that?
There you go. And then it's like
that sounds pretty good.
And then it's like saying
that's pretty good.
And then it's like saying to Marvin, and I bet you hate this question, and I'm sure Edward will agree with this one. Hey, so you're a comedian? Hey man, be funny. Say something funny. Do something funny. Do you hate that question? Because that's like saying, boom, I got to perform.
But what do you know? If you meet somebody, he's actually a cook. Hey, are you a cook? Well, go ahead and cook me some food. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. Go ahead and cook me a hamburger. Come on, So hey, that's too right there.
Let's cut to our first commercial trivia question break here, and as a reminder to both today and Michael, if you know the answer, don't say anything quite yet. We'll let the audience guess, and then we'll come right back. How many pairs of U.S. presidents have had the same last name? So you have to kind of think about all the various presidents who have had the same last name. All right. Email Edward at sportsecon101.com. The answer to this question: how many pairs of U.S. presidents have had the same last name? All right. Stay with us. You're listening to Sports Econ 101. Don't touch the dial. We are going to be right back. How's that radio voice? You like that one? Okay. Here we go.
Good, man.
All right.
Too legit.
Do you like that? Okay. Stay with us, audience. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. I'm Edward Brown, along with Mike McDowd and our special guest, Marvin Deloatch. Trivia question number 1. How many pairs of U.S. presidents have had the same last name? Okay, start running through the ones you know.
Johnson & Johnson.
Johnson & Johnson.
How many pairs?
For a baby powder, correct. Right? Yeah. Lyndon Johnson, Andrew Johnson. I think they were
Lyndon B. Johnson, Andrew Johnson. No.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so there's been 5 of them. Okay, first you start off with John Adams and then his son John Quincy Adams. Then you had William Henry Harrison, who was only in for a month, March to April of 1841. You know why he died? Because he was so stupid. He gave a 3-hour inauguration speech with no hat and no gloves in temperatures of 2 degrees, snowing and all that, and he succumbed to pneumonia. So he lasted for about a month.
Yeah.
And Benjamin Harrison, who was his grandson. Then you had George H.W. Bush and his son George Bush. Right?
Oh, geez. Hello.
That's good. W. Yeah. And then Teddy and Franklin Roosevelt. They were like cousins or something like that. So there's been 5 of them. All righty. So here we go. Let's talk a little sports here, right? First of all, let me ask you guys, doesn't it seem like there have been a lot more injuries in the NFL this year? Or is it my imagination?
I mean, if you look at the 49ers,
I mean, it's always injuries, I know, but and I know the protocol, the old days, you had the double run, you just went back in there. Now it's the concussion protocol, but it sure seems like half the teams have half their guys missing. I mean, the 49ers are a good example, but there's other teams, even the Lions have had a lot of injuries. And again, my theory on this is that the guys are a lot faster and stronger than they were in the old days, but ankles and knees, they're only going to be so strong. So, it doesn't matter how big and strong you are, your ankles, especially when guys are weighing over 300 pounds, right?
Yeah, that's sure.
That's my theory from Dr. Brown. And then what ends up happening is, the 49ers, personally, I don't think Shanahan is personally, I don't think he's a great coach, but that's just my own personal feeling. But the thing is, how are you going to blame him for, Christian McCaffrey getting hurt? Jake Moody, the kicker, gets hurt and he starts missing field goals. I mean, that's maybe a coaching thing where you go, gee, maybe we shouldn't put the kicker in. Maybe just punt the ball or go for it on fourth down type of thing. But, Ayuk gets this huge contract and I think he played 1 or 2 games and then he gets hurt. So, teams are going to lose if you're putting in third and fourth stringers and unless you're a coach making stupid decisions of like the clock and all that. I really feel sorry for a lot of these coaches.
Well, yeah. I mean, Shanahan in particular, but I mean, I don't have a list in front of me, to be honest. Maybe Marvin does, because Marvin is our resident guru,
Well, Shanahan did trade
NFL
away.
expert.
Well, he did trade away Sam Darnold, who's now going to make the playoffs, and not Purdy. You know what I'm saying? So I was a little concerned about that. He's having a great year, Sam Darnold, now. For Minnesota.
Yeah.
So they should have kept
But-
him now.
Yeah.
I don't. How many players in the NFL are out? And I don't have a list in front of me, but it seems. I mean, it just seems to be the nature of the beast. I mean, it's a physical game. I think there's a lot of variables. Is the way that the players are being hit? Is it how about these new turf fields? A lot of they're all artificial turf now. What factors are those playing into injuries? We don't know yet. I don't think there's any research quite yet because those fields are fairly new to a degree.
They did change rules to protect the players, right?
True.
And that sort of thing. So they're trying to do as much as they can to protect them. And then even some of those helmets, I gotta say, they look pretty funny. They have that extra little cushiony thing.
Yeah.
I'm not. It looks like we're watching a Wookiee from Star Wars or something like that. I mean, come on. It's like what is that?
Some of those guys' heads are so big too. Those guys got a big head out there.
Big old fat lineman.
Put them all in bubble wrap, and nobody will get.
Exactly. Hey, guys, what about this one? I mean, I know we're talking injuries. Let's talk further injuries. How about this? I'm in Jacksonville, Florida right now. Well, you know what happened yesterday? I'll tell you what happened. Trent Baalke, the general manager, kept his job, but the coach, Doug Peterson, out of here. He got his butt fired, and he went 22-29 in 3 seasons. Quite frankly, you got to have players. If you don't have players, I don't think anybody can coach. Doug Peterson won a Super Bowl with the Philadelphia Eagles. I think the guy can coach. I don't think he has the team around him. Okay, that's number 8. And then we all know this guy, Trent Baalke. He used to be the general manager, president of the 49ers. Somehow, some way, this guy survives another day to live. How is this guy keeping his job when he's the one hiring the head coaches? Come on. And he's picking the players as well. Fire his ass. Get him out of here. I mean, he ruined the 49ers. I mean, do you not agree? I don't know.
I don't know.
Oh, he's gone.
Yeah. And then you get who is it? Who's the guy for the 49ers? Is it Campbell? They basically just kind of walked out on his team. I can't remember.
I think so. Well, and then I mean, I know by the time the show airs, this is all old news, but Jared Mayo, New England Patriots, gone 1 year. We've had a total of 5 coaches gone. Matt Eberflus, Chicago Bears, gone. He didn't do very good. Well, he was.
Nobody could pronounce
it. Yeah, I
he was
14-32.
Dennis Allen, New Orleans Saints, gone. I mean, some pretty, and then the coaching, how do you say this? Exit, the biggest one of all that I find perplexing, and I think he's a good coach, and Edward and Marvin. How about the former 49er defensive coordinator, Robert Saleh, the New York Jets? They fired him mid-season.
That he's gone.
Why?
Yeah, that was surprising. Yeah, that was
I
surprising
mean,
one
does
there.
that really bring continuity to a team? I mean, you think Aaron Rodgers is happy? No. Is Aaron Rodgers going to get fired? That's what I want to know next. You know,
Yeah,
he
he didn't
said
have a
he
good
had a
year.
rough
He didn't have a good
season,
year at all.
Marvin.
Yeah, he had a rough year,
No,
man. He
but
didn't
I
have a
don't
good
think.
year at all.
I don't know, man. I mean, I wonder if Edward thinks that. You think he's going to stay, Edward, or do you think he's out of here, Aaron
I think
Rodgers?
they're all out of here. They're going to start with a whole new fresh. I'm sorry for laughing. You know what? I just happen to be looking up Marvin's name on just googling him. Marvin, there's a picture here of in the Marin Athletic Hall of Fame. You have more hair than head.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, literally, it's. I mean,
He said more hair than head, man. Now I'm gonna get you to open up for me, Edward. God, that was good.
Yeah, Edward, that's what I was saying earlier. I said I see a picture of Marvin Deloatch in the Marin
Oh man.
Independent Journal newspaper, and like I said, it's impressive, Marvin. I mean,
Yeah, the hair was amazing, man. That was amazing. Yeah.
I mean, when you were playing hoops, were you the funny guy on the team too?
Yes, I was always kind of playing jokes on the team. Exactly. Yes, I did. I was
Well,
just trying to mess with people. Yeah.
well, give us one of your best practical jokes that you've ever committed.
Well, just kind of sneaking in the guy's room, getting in the hotel room to their key to their room, and going in their room with a big bucket of water and throwing it at them and running out of there before they caught me and stuff like that. You know, I just do stuff like that. Early morning wake up call, I would call it. You know, I splash everybody with water in the middle of the night, man, when I was sleeping. You know, so they wouldn't give a hotel room to you now in the middle of the night. You got to have some identification, but back then they didn't care. Oh my goodness. Man.
Okay,
Just little stuff like that. Yeah.
another key question I think Edward Brown would also ask as well.
Yeah.
What is the greatest one-liner you ever gave in a live action, real deal basketball game? What's the greatest one-liner? You remember?
The one line that I taught was on the basketball court.
Yeah, like just using your swagger, anything really funny just come out of your mouth that you can remember.
You're about to get dunked on. When you predict it, you know what I'm saying? Hey, you're about to get dunked on, and just go and dunk on them. I told you, and then look at them crazy. That's what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? That's confidence right there. Where you're just going, you predict you're going to dunk on them, but you ready to get dunked on now? Let's go. Let's go. Reach to the hoop, you know? Because I could have hops, like I said, hops. You know, I could actually really jump. Altitude, man. You get up there, you almost lose consciousness. When you lose consciousness, you're up there so high.
there you go. I like that. All right. Okay, guys, you ready for our second commercial?
Natural high, look.
Okay, this one actually should be a little bit easier. And I know we just had Christmas just a couple of weeks ago, but this is sort of a Christmas question. How many ghosts visited Ebenezer Scrooge in A Christmas Carol? Don't say anything yet. Just think about it. And when we come back, we'll let you answer the question. Very simply, how many ghosts visited Ebenezer Scrooge in A Christmas Carol? All right. And if you need more than 10, take off your shoes, or more than 5, take off your shoes and socks and start counting. All right. Stay with us. Sports Econ 101 will be right back. Don't touch that dial.
Aha.
Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. I'm Edward Brown along with Mike McDowd, our special guest, comedian and former basketball player, Marvin Deloatch.
Marvin Deloatch Jr., by the way.
Junior. That's right. Yeah. You know what? On your tag, it says Marvin Deloatch, but it is Marvin Deloatch Jr.
Junior, yes.
There you go.
Junior, yes. Okay. How many ghosts visited Ebenezer Scrooge in A Christmas Carol? Mike, what do you think the answer is?
I'm going to go 4.
Marvin, what do you think?
Well, it will only take one for me. Oh, man, it would just take one.
Okay. Mike, you think you know the answer? Go ahead. Tell
I said 4.
4.
Christmas present, Christmas past, the spirit of Christmas, and there's one more. I don't know.
Christmas features.
Am I way off? I have no idea.
Actually, it is 4. It's Christmas past, present, future, and Jacob Marley.
Oh, okay.
Beginning, yeah. Very good. Yeah, I
Okay.
think I thought maybe people were going to think it was a trick question. Go, well, three of them, past, present,
Well,
future. But
Edward, if you were to be a ghost, which kind of ghost would you be?
kind that you could see through.
And Marvin, what about you?
Like, what's so funny? That reminds me. Bruce McGowan told me one time he was interviewing some sports players, and there was a bunch of other reporters there. And he says one guy asked this football player, "says if you could be any kind of a tree, what kind of a tree would you be?" What question is that?
A tree hugger? I
A
don't
tree
know.
hugger, oak, mighty. I mean, I don't know. Sometimes these questions, In fact, Marvin, let me ask it from a comedian standpoint. Uh, Do you ever get concerned about hecklers, or how do you deal with hecklers? If you
Oh, that's my. I love hecklers.
Okay.
That's my favorite. Yeah, because you're in charge because you have the mic. Hecklers don't realize that. Once you have the microphone, you can do anything you want. You're in charge. So I encourage hecklers to heckle me because I love it. I love hecklers messing with them back like that. So it's something. Yeah.
You get too many hecklers. Not at 6'6". but still, when you do though, you have to be kind of fast on your feet because, I mean, you always have to be thinking. Obviously, you have to always be thinking because you're not prepared for like.
Marvin Deloatch.
Yeah, but you actually have heckler material. You can prepare for it. I go with material. There's case hecklers out there. Comedians do that. Comedians do that sometimes. They got heckler material you can prepare for, and what I'm saying, just in case it happens, you are ready for it already. And people think it's just something you just did instantly. But you prepare for that already. So yeah, you have heckler material, and yeah. So I don't get scared when the hecklers come on stage or how kind of heckle and stuff like that. I kind of get encouraged by it, and it always is pretty much always on the heckler side. I mean, I'm always on the comedian side. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes it kind of adds a little flavor to it. In fact, it's funny. We were
most of the time they're drunk anyway. Most of the time they're drunk anyway.
Normal people are not going to step out like that. They'll be just kind of quiet. But it's so funny. I remember my wife and I were on a cruise ship, and for whatever reason, my wife had just this funny bone in her. The comedian was funny, but there was just a couple of things he said that just made her just like completely laugh out loud, and she wasn't heckling at all. And he was so like impressed by it. He says, "Hey," he goes, come here," and he brought us down to like the front row. And my wife was a little bit embarrassed, but people thought afterward, they came up to him and they thought my wife was a plant. She wasn't.
Wow.
He just happened to hit a funny bone, and she just.
Yeah.
My wife has kind of an interesting sense of humor, though. Sometimes the certain things will come on the stage that like certain things will. It's different. I got to tell you this one funny story here. So, do you remember the movie The Notebook? Where it's kind of a romantic thing. The guy is talking, his wife has dementia, and he goes and he reads her these stories, and basically it's their story as they're growing up. And I think Ryan Gosling was in it. And there's this one scene that's like really tender where they're on a canoe and there's all these swans and it's a beautiful lake and all this stuff. And I'm sitting in the middle between my 8-year-old daughter and my wife, right? And here I am, kind of like getting all kind of teary-eyed because it's so sweet moment, right? And my wife starts going, Affleck, because of all the swans. I don't know why, And my daughter's going, mine, which I think was from Madagascar, right? I mean, I got these comedians on the side of me, and I'm the only one who's teary-eyed in this chick flick,
Jeez.
It goes to show what a sense.
It
goes to show what a sensitive.
Yeah, what my favorite chick flick is? Braveheart. There you go. Okay. So, right. Any other sport? Oh, college football, Mike. Do you want to talk a little college football too?
Yeah, I was thinking before we mentioned, I can imagine the great Marv Albert introducing Marvin Deloatch. Marv Albert here. Up next, it'll be Marvin Deloatch opening up for Jimmy J.J. Walker. Yes. Okay, that's
Michael,
my
that was
homage
pretty
to
good,
you.
Michael.
That wasn't bad, was it?
Man, that was all right.
Have you ever heard me do my James Stewart?
James Stewart?
Oh, James Stewart, Mr. Potter. Oh, come on. Not bad, huh? Yeah.
That's pretty good. That's
Man,
pretty. In fact,
you guys are something else. This is a great show, man. This got a lot of fun, man.
Oh yeah,
and
but
Marvin, and Marvin,
Oh,
I did Marv Albert because Marv Albert loves to dress in women's clothing. Yes. Do you remember when Marv Albert got busted
yeah,
for
yeah. He
wearing
was a
women's
hidden freak,
clothing
man. He was a
in the
hidden freak.
hotel room? Yes.
Yeah.
I know. Bad
Hey, man, that was
stuff.
all right. Marv Albert was a hidden freak. I'm telling you, he was.
Freak of nature, huh?
the only one I can do is Howard Cosell. Here, Joe Willie Namath from Beaver Falls, Pennsylvania. Go ahead. Never mind. Okay.
Keith Jackson. Yes. I love Keith. Remember Keith Jackson, the play-by-play guy?
Keith Jackson. Oh man, yeah, I remember Keith Jackson.
All the
Wow.
boys of the post, Keith Jackson on ABC. Anyways, that's all I got.
Wasn't he one of the Monday Night Football guys?
You guys on a roll, man.
Yeah.
Marvin, when you're with other comedians, do you guys trade off one-liners? I mean, do you try to? Are you able to relax, or are you competing against each other all the time, trying to be?
Oh no,
I'm
we're
funnier.
relaxed.
Who's funnier?
No, we're relaxed. We like to, we just enjoy each other's talent. That's all, Because when funny is funny, you're gonna laugh, man. You're gonna laugh regardless. Funny is funny, You're gonna laugh regardless.
How'd you get hooked up with J.J. Walker? How did the two of you guys get hooked
Say
up?
it again.
How did you guys, you and
Well,
J.J.?
Dale Van Dyke actually, like I said, he's the one that got me into comedy. He's been booking Jimmy Walker for at least for 10 to 15 years. So yeah, and Dale Van Dyke, he runs the Black Oak Casino. He runs the comedy there. That's my business partner. And he's from the bottom. He's a great headliner. Yeah, he's been doing comedy for over 30 years. Dale Van Dyke, a great comedian, and he's been booking there. So he's got me involved with Jimmy Walker. Basically, he did. And I'm gonna give props to Dale Van Dyke. He's a funny comedian. He wasn't performing for a while, but now he's gonna be back on the circuit again. So he's a hell of a funny guy. You'll see him this Friday night, by the way.
Yeah, and he's one of your influences, isn't he? Marvin?
Oh yeah, he's one. Like I said, he used to teach comedy class. He got me started. He's got started like people like Mikey Winfield, who's from America's Got Talent. He got him started. He's got a lot of comedians got on their feet. Dale Van Dyke. So yeah. When you teach comedy class at a real comedy club, then after the class is over with, you get to perform in front of a live crowd. And that's comedy school, and Dale Van Dyke taught that out of Sacramento.
A great question, and I think Edward and I would like to join comedy class. But let me ask you, if Edward and I were to join comedy class, does that mean
You too
we're
can
going
join comedy too in 6 weeks.
So does that mean we're going to be funny? I mean,
you're going to be funny,
or do you just have to have it? Do you just kind of have to have it? You know what I mean?
I think it's got to be both, right?
Yeah, it's a little both. You're right, absolutely. It's a little both. You just got to have it, or you just got to work at it too. So, but if you're not funny, you're not funny.
I got this whole. I don't want to say a whole comedy thing, but I've written a few little like skits for church and stuff like that, and I came up with this. I like to come up with like clean humor, so I've got like some biblical stuff, I mean, this is kind of an old one, but when the reason you had Adam and Eve, and he's called man and she's called woman, the reason is because when he first looked at her naked, he goes, whoa, man. So that's what her name was going to be. But I had a whole thing on Noah's Ark, right? Noah's 500 years old. He's building the ark, and God's saying, hey, you know what? You guys are going to have to be fruitful and multiply. I'm going to wipe out everybody. You're going to have to be fruitful and multiply. And he's going to go, God, I'm 500 years old. He goes, my wife's not even happy me building this ark, and, for the next 100 years.
Wow.
And he goes, no. God says, no. I'm talking about, your kids and, your 3 sons and their wives. He goes, oh, thank God. I mean, praise the Lord. Wife ain't too happy, but taking all that time building an ark, which is kind of interesting.
I like how you mentioned Adam and Eve. That's all right. That's where everything started.
Yeah, that one actually didn't make up though. I gotta say I didn't make that one up. Let's see. Any other sports we want to talk about before we cut to our last break? Yeah.
I'd like to give a shameless plug. I mentioned this to you earlier, and Marvin doesn't know this, but the incredible Savannah Bananas baseball team is looking for a play-by-play announcer. Well, guess what? I'm throwing my hat in the ring, And I would love to be the next voice. 2 million fans have watched the Savannah Bananas travel all over the country. You know, it's the boys of summer playing banana ball. I mean, does it get any better? These guys do a little boot step boogie. They dance, they sing, and by the way, I'm too legit to quit. You need me on that mic. You want me on that mic. Let me give you one baseball call. All right. 2-2 count. That ball is hit deep, far wide, left center field. Oh my goodness. Let's talk Italian. This ball is gone. Dola. That's my home run call.
Mike, you got on that leave it the beaver hat on. Looks pretty good on you, man. That's all.
Yeah,
Right.
man. I mean, come on. My hiring committee. Check it out. I'm talking about you on a national show right now. Give the McDude a shot here. You gave Bill Lee a shot to pitch again. Give the McDude, the kid, a shot. I want to be your voice, and then we'll.
So then you would have to travel around with the team then, right?
Yeah, but I still get to do the show.
That's the most important thing. Sports Econ 101 is number one. Everything else is 2 and 3.
You know, they play in like Fenway Park, Wrigley Field. I mean, really iconic baseball stadiums. It's pretty cool. You know about them, don't you, Marvin? The Savannah Bananas.
A little bit, very little.
They're like I would say they're what, Edward, the equivalent of the Harlem Globetrotters.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, that's what they are. Hey guys, you ready for our last commercial break here? The time goes fast, I got to tell you. Okay, third trivia question. This one actually is, to me, is kind of hard. Which 2 sports brands were founded due to a sibling rivalry? And you will have heard of the. I love those classes. You will have heard. This is not so esoteric that you wouldn't hear the sports brands. So you'll know the sports brands. But which 2 sports brands were founded due to a sibling rivalry? All right, audience, stay with us. You're listening to Sports Econ 101. Don't touch that dial. We'll be back with some closing comments.
He'll kill you up. Edward will.
Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. Last time for today, I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Mike McDowell and Marvin Deloatch Jr. Third trivia question. Which 2 sports brands were founded due to a sibling rivalry? Answer, Adidas and Puma.
Really?
By the brothers. Yeah, I didn't know that. That was a tough one. Marvin Deloatch, give us your plug for the day for the performance that you're coming up.
You guys are going to listen to a great show. If you're ever in the area, if you're in Sonora County, Tuolumne County, up in the mountains, good Black Oak Casino. It's going to be Jimmy Walker, Del Van Dyke, and my man Todd Link. It's going to be a great show. And also, if you guys are in Marin County, where I grew up here, marvelous Marin County. I love that place. In Fairfax, Max at Broadway. We're going to be rocking it there. With Jimmy Walker going to be headlining there, Del Van Dyke, my man, Todd Link, and I'm going to be hosting the show. I'm going to have a lot of people there. Hopefully, I think Bill Cartman is going to show up. I hope he doesn't get mad at me when I talk about his awkward free throw form. When you get on that, he doesn't know. He doesn't know. I'm going to surprise him and ask him about that shot. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
All right. Marvin Deloatch Jr., thank you so much for joining us. Here's our thoughts for the day.
Yes, thank you for having me. Thank you so much for having me. God bless you.
Nice job, Marvin.
So you know how they throw out a ball to the crowd after they win the game? That's not allowed in bowling, and I know that now. And I'll never forget my grandfather's last words that he said to me before he died. Are you still holding the ladder? Ooh, that one's kind of tough. All right. And since we're talking a little bit of morbidity here, dogs aren't the only animal you can train. I had a goldfish once that could break dance on the carpet, but only for about 20 seconds. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for those. Those were a little bit morbid. Next time I got to come up with a little bit better ones. All right. Audience, tune in next week to Sports Econ 101. We're going to be discussing sports topics from a business perspective and asking more trivia questions. Thanks for listening. On behalf of our team, I'm your host, Edward Brown. We'll see you next week.
Guys, take care. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you, Marvin Deloatch Jr. and the military.
Thank you, man. Talk to you soon. God bless.